What's going on, everyone? The Premier League season is finally over. And what a season it's been. Not a season that we're used to, pandemic and all. The standings have been finalised. The Champions League spots have been decided. The relegation spots were pretty much decided a long time ago. But Manchester United have finished second. A year prior, they finished third. Progress has been made under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Me and Harris are going to give you the RedFlex match reaction.
Hello and welcome to the RedFlex Live, brand new Man United channel where we do match reviews, previews, transfers, everything to do with Manchester United.
What's going on, Harris? Manchester United have finished second. The young guns have ensured that the absolutely magnificent record stays intact. I think that was so important. Manchester United unbeaten away from home all season, Harris. How does that one sound to you?
I think Ole was playing with fire, Qasim. He was playing with fire. He's trying to get by. He was trying to do a 2-for-1 on this. He was trying to number one. He was trying to, get away with resting all his players, and at the same time try and make out that he was trying to. Well, he did have this kind of unbeaten run in his.
He's lucky. He's got away with this one, I'll say.
He's got away with it, but I'm telling you, because it was a similar team to Leicester, wasn't it? Similar team, but obviously Leicester are a better team. But that didn't quite work out. That game, fair enough, it was a different situation. 48 hours after the game before. But yeah, I mean, look, Qasim. Yeah, it's one of the situations. He's got second. It's not a good second. It's not what we wanted, is it? It's not a convincing second. We're not 5-6 behind.
Some of us didn't want it, but you could say other members of the RedFlex didn't really care about the second. They would finish fourth and take a Europa League. Yeah. Oh boy, we better win this Europa League now. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. All that kind of. But look, if we don't win Europa League, at least we've got second, haven't we? We've got to say, look, yeah, it's progress. Because if you finish like fourth, then it'd be like, oh, they've scraped into it again. They're not serious challengers, and all that kind of jargon would have started again. So, I mean, look, for me, this unbeaten run means something. I think, I think it's the fourth team in history, in English top flight history, to go a full season being unbeaten away from home. Obviously, Arsenal were the last team to do it as part of the Invincibles. They need one more game to match the all-time record of Arsenal. So it'll be interesting to see who we get first game next season, and then obviously, potentially depending on the fixtures. We could even beat that, and it's something. It's a feather in his cap. It's something to claim. It's something you can say. I did it under my stewardship. But look, that's for next season. The main priority now is all about Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Wolves Manchester United game. We're also going to give you a Premier League roundup in terms of all the major stories. But just want to give everyone a little heads up. It's going to be a massive week on the RedFlex this week, all on the road to Gdansk 2021, where Manchester United play Villarreal in a game that is by far the most important game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And we've got an action-packed week lined up for you. So me and Harris are here, going to be talking about the Wolves Man United game, Premier League roundup. We also have a very special show. It will be the RedFlex end of year season awards. So very important awards up for grabs. Who is going to be the Man United player of the year, the breakout player of the year, the Premier League player of the year. So make sure you do tune into that. It's going to be very interesting. And if it is the first time that you are watching the RedFlex, make sure you do like, comment, share, and subscribe. So Harris, a little bit more Wolves Man United. Elanga, who I believe was playing up front, if we go off the lineups, he gets his first goal, but something that I want to focus on, it was a Dan James cross with his left foot, would you believe? What on earth was that? How did he have that in his locker? I wasn't sure about that.
Look, I was watching the game with Abdul, and I think Abdul pointed that out as well. He goes, great cross. Look, I think he's improved a lot, Dan James.
But Harris, sorry to interrupt you. One thing that did make me laugh was Dan James running one-on-one with the goalkeeper. All he had to do was put it into the back of the net, and his finish was completely disgraceful. It was a disgrace of a finish. You got to admit that. Absolutely shocking.
Yeah, it was poor. It was poor. I mean, look, the only defense I've got is he's been injured. He's not played for a while. He doesn't have that sharpness, and it was towards the end of the game, wasn't it? So, maybe he didn't have the legs. I don't know. But look,
it was poor.
Yeah, it was poor.
Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat it.
That is not what you want to see.
Yeah, luckily it didn't affect the score, so we can kind of brush that under the carpet.
It was a nice finish from Malanga. Powerful header into the back of the net.
Look, that cross, I think even I could have scored that, and I can't have to save my life, so I think even I would have scored that. It was on a plate, beautiful cross. He was running into it. He didn't have to break his stride. All he had to do was make contact, and he did. And I'm really happy for Elanga. We played a couple of games. When I saw him first, to be honest, I didn't really know much about him. I saw him against, was it Leicester? Was it Liverpool? I can't remember now.
Yeah, it was Leicester.
Leicester, and he did okay. He seemed all right, but nothing amazing. But yeah, he had a chance before that, didn't he? Before his header, which he probably could have done better with, where he shifted it onto his left and then took the shot. He was a bit wild with that, but I'm really happy for him. It's something he's going to remember forever. And yeah, obviously, depending on what happens in the transfer market, we may get to see a bit more of him in the cups next year.
So I was reading. I was going on social media, obviously, after the result had finished, and one thing that did catch me with a little bit of surprise, because I didn't think his performance was fantastic. So I'll probably have to rewatch it a little bit. But a lot of praise for Donny van der Beek performance against Wolves. What did you make of it?
Because I wasn't so sure. Yeah, again, I was watching it with Abdul. I thought, he started brightly. He was in those advanced positions in the pockets. He was linking up play. He was trying to set people up. This is, for me, I think that might be his best 90 minutes. He
played in the same position against Leicester, but he looked woeful there. You could tell that that was maybe not going to be.
Yeah, was he on the right though of the midfield or the left? I can't remember now against Leicester.
I think it was the right. I think
I don't know, but yeah, but he played. I thought he played really well. Look, we need to remember, he plays bits, here and there. His confidence must be really low. You can't really judge a player after playing one game here, one game there. He needs like 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row to really judge him. I mean, there's no rumors of him wanting to leave or going, so it seems as though he's going to be there. I mean, can he be the answer to that? Playing two in the middle. If Pogba does move on, or if he does end up playing on the left a lot more, can we have Donny van der Beek plus one more? And that one more shouldn't be McTominay or Fred for me. Has to be somebody else. Has to be some.
Yeah, I think we definitely need. I think Fred and McTominay can work in some games. There's no doubt about that. I don't think, but in certain games, it doesn't seem like there's a requirement for Fred.
Fulham at home. What was the requirement? What was the requirement for Fulham at home?
It's difficult to justify
that. You can't justify it.
But maybe Ole knows that defensively, the only way we can be at a certain level is if we got that bit of protection. But then in certain games, that protection still isn't there. So I think that's something for Ole to kind of figure out. I know that Ole he did play quite a few young guns against Wolves. One player, although I thought all of them did well, but I think special focus is on Ahmad. I thought every time he got the ball, fair enough, it didn't work out all the time for him, but you just kind of see that he's got that little bit of quality about him. And I'm excited to see, what he's going to bring to the table.
I agree with that. He's got a bit of confidence. It seems as though, he's not shy from the ball. He's technically seems to be comfortable on it. Yeah, obviously his end products and improve on it. It's like with any young player, Qasim, it's like when like Ron started, he was a bit erratic all over the place. But the issue is he going to get the game time? He's on the right. There's links with Jadon Sancho. If he comes in, I can't see him getting a lot of game time. Is he going to go out on loan? He needs to bulk up for me. He needs to bulk up, which obviously like Ronaldo did and other players have. So he'll need to do that because he's quite small and quite slight. So, but yeah, I mean, it looks good. We spent a decent amount of money on him. So, hopefully he'll get some decent game time. If not at United, then, like somewhere else.
Just one final note about the Wolves-Man United game before we move on to the rest of the Premier League results. I think it was a really important goal for Juan Mata. I think from a personal point of view, dedicated the goal to his mum, who recently passed away, and I think that explains where Mata might have been or why he wasn't around the team. Overall, Harris, what do you make of Mata's career at Manchester United? I think I'll get my opinion out of the way first. I think he joined Man United where we were at our poorest, and if we were where we should be, he should have been playing in that number 10 role, but rarely did. Played mostly from the right. So I think even though he has done well, it could have been a little bit better for him.
Yeah, probably. I mean, difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to say. I think the way we were playing under Moyes and what was going on, it was all about wing play, and some stupid stat wasn't there. The amount of crosses we did in one game. I just don't think he was set up to play in that position under Moyes. And obviously, as time's gone on, he's just we've had different managers and they've used him in different ways and stuff like that. But he's been a great servant to United. He's always I think the game against Liverpool with his 2 goals overhead kick will always be his highlight for us. And if it is his last game, all the best to him. I can totally understand if he wants more game time. He might want to go back to Spain as well with his family, take them back, or what have you. So yeah, all the best to him.
We're going to move on to the rest of the Premier League results on the final week of the Premier League. But just a quick reminder for everybody, if this is the first time that you are watching the RedFlex, make sure you do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, we are on the road to Gdansk, the Europa League final, Manchester United versus Villarreal in Man United's biggest game of the season. Will Ole end Manchester United's trophy drought and his own trophy drought this season? Make sure you tune into the RedFlex because we've got a lot of things lined up before that massive game. Me and Harris will be back for the RedFlex end of season awards, which will be on a little bit later on tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with a preview of how Manchester United got to the final in Gdansk. So that'll be interesting to watch. We'll also have the official RedFlex match preview later on Tuesday evening, Villarreal, Manchester United, where hopefully the whole RedFlex team will be there previewing the final. And then on Wednesday itself, for the first time on the RedFlex, Manchester United versus Villarreal, Europa League final, and it will be a live watch-along on the RedFlex on the YouTube channel. And following that, hopefully again, the full RedFlex team will be in the house to celebrate, fingers crossed, Manchester United lifting that Europa League trophy. So a lot to look forward to. The only place you can watch it is on the RedFlex, so make sure you subscribe. Harris, so going into the final week, Champions League spots were on the line. Chelsea played Aston Villa, Liverpool at home to Crystal Palace, and Leicester at home to Tottenham. Results came in, and Leicester have bottled it once again on the last day of the season. They lost 4-2 to Tottenham. Liverpool got 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace. Chelsea lost but snuck their way into the Champions League. First thing I want to say is, you're a Leicester City fan. You're probably still hanging somewhere because of the celebrations of the FA Cup. But has Brendan Rodgers failed this season? Not only twice in consecutive seasons, but on the last day, certainly there's a mentality issue there.
Difficult to say. This is really, it's a fine judgment. This is, I mean, look, when the results are going in, I think Liverpool were pretty much safe as soon as they scored that goal because of the other results. Chelsea, absolute. I've got no idea what's happened to them. Apparently they were the bee's knees, and now they've lost quite a few games, and they've got the final coming up against City. So, that's not looking great for them. But obviously there was a point where Chelsea were fifth, and Leicester were obviously in fourth when they were winning the game. And then Chelsea were as soon as they went 2-1 down, I think that was it. And then Leicester just needed to win their game basically, which obviously they couldn't. So. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for them. It's difficult to judge. I mean, look, Leicester, they don't have the budget as the other teams. They don't have the squad depth.
They say that, but I hate the fact that Leicester are always painted as underdogs. Let's remember, in the last 5 years, they've won the Premier League. They've won an FA Cup now. They've been in the Champions League. They've been in the Europa League. They spend big money. Yes, fair enough. Net spend might not be as big as any other club, but I think it's just media. The media like to paint Leicester as some sort of underdogs.
Yeah,
I don't think they're underdogs.
Yeah, I'm just saying, look, compared to the other four, obviously they're not as big, which is the truth. But yeah, I mean, if they hadn't won the FA Cup, I think it would have been more. You could have labelled it more on them and said, look, yeah, they bottled it in the final, they bottled it in the Champions League. Then but you've got maybe got an argument. But come on, if they've won the FA Cup first time in their history, it's difficult. It's really difficult to criticise, the manager and the team, because they've got a trophy under the belt, which is something obviously we haven't done, have we, in the last 3-4 years. So it's really difficult to criticise that. And if you speak to most fans, a lot of fans will say, that they would take a trophy over the top four. So it's really difficult. For me, I'm going to say no. I don't think he has failed. But on the other hand, you can flip it and say, look, I think there's some stats on there. Out of 70 odd weeks of the Premier League in the last 2 years, I think they've been in the top four, for 67, 68 of them. So, for them to fall away in the last couple of weeks in both seasons it's unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, if it happens again next year, then 100%, you can say, they've bottled it. But then again, they need to be in the top four to someone to say that. They might not even be in the top four all season next year.
Unfortunately, Liverpool made the top four, and that is sickening. Sickening that they made the top four. I think it was pretty much a given on the last day of the season that they were going to make it. Obviously, they beat Crystal Palace 2-0, Roy Hodgson's final game. But we should have done the job on them. We should have taken them out of the equation. That is going to stick with me for a while. Disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I said it after I think in my last video. That is where look, you can't just say, oh yeah, we shouldn't be worrying about other teams' results and all that. We just need to, take care of ourselves. But he specifically saved. He's rested so many players against Leicester for this game, and United were just awful, absolutely disgusting performance.
Performance didn't back that up, did it?
Yeah, really? I mean, even a draw would have been enough to take them out of it. I think if they're 2 points less, it just made too much pressure, and it would have been too much pressure on them to get the result. And I think they would have ended up being fifth or something. So it's unfortunate, but because look, end of the day, they will be a rival in the Champions League. We may not end up playing them, but it could happen in the quarterfinals. It's going to be, all English team. So we had a chance to take out a rival.
So obviously we know Chelsea made the top four. They lost to Aston Villa 2-1. But with a United hat on, I was hoping that Chelsea didn't finish in the top four. They finished fifth, so they go into that Champions League final knowing that they have to beat Manchester City to get into the Champions League, to give them, that extra little bit of motivation. Because I don't want to see Man City lift that trophy. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want to see either, to be honest.
Do you think Chelsea can do a job? Because at the moment,
I think they'll have enough motivation with the fact that they've lost the FA Cup final. I think, to be honest, I think that feeling is quite raw. Won't it? It'll be still very fresh. So losing a final, I think that'll be in the back of their head. So I think they've got enough motivation. I think it's probably maybe a good thing that they are in the top four, because they don't have that kind of extreme pressure now where they know do or die. They've still got that feeling of knowing that they've lost the final, and they want to make sure they put that right. And it seems though that they have got the wood over Man City this year. They've beaten them quite a few times. So it'll be a good final. It'll be close. And yeah, I would prefer Chelsea to win it.
Yeah. So obviously Man City lifted their trophy in front of a record attendance for City standards in the Etihad yesterday. But obviously it was I was going to get onto that. So Sergio Aguero, he's a guy who's punished Man United a lot of times, many times, up to the point where it's just a foregone conclusion that Sergio Aguero is going to put it into the back of the net. Reluctantly, I will have to say he is one of the very, very best Premier League strikers that we have ever seen. Yeah. What did you make of Guardiola's tears? For me, I was surprised, because I always thought Guardiola wasn't very keen on Aguero, or it wasn't his type of striker, but it was a complete flip of everything that I thought. So what did you make of it? I found it very strange that Guardiola was crying. He was in tears, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, normally, he's quite composed of that. I don't think I've ever seen him that upset. I mean, to be honest, I've hardly seen any manager cry, to be honest. I'm trying to think of one.
Do you think that was for the cameras? I think so.
No. I think it was, I don't think you can fake stuff like that. You can tell it was genuine. You can see him kind of watering up, like a minute before and stuff like that. It's just, it was a nice, raw, honest interview reaction. Fair enough. Yeah, you were right, Qasim. I probably thought maybe there was something behind the scenes that why he wasn't getting the game time or something was going on. Maybe they came to some sort of mutual agreement, but it seems as though, even though that might be the case, he genuinely does like Sergio Aguero. He's got a lot of respect for him, not even as a player, but even as a human being. So respect for that. I think Guardiola, in my eyes, obviously went up a notch with that interview as well. So fair play all round.
Yeah, I think for us, especially, it was at the heat of the battle between Man United and Man City when he first joined City, and we've seen his whole career. And it seems almost weird that we've seen the end of Sergio Aguero.
Yeah. We've seen the start. When he came onto the scene, and obviously that goal, which every time I see it or hear about
I was going to do an attempt of it, but I'm not going to do it. I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
No. Yeah, exactly. We can't be doing that on the RedFlex, and it was just painful memories it brings back every time of how we, threw away the title that year. To be honest, but fair play to him. You still got to respect the players, and as you said, he's a top player, and it seems they'll be going to Barca.
Good signing for Barca, but that pretty much wraps up today's video. Manchester United have finished second in the Premier League, and that is prior to them finishing third the season before. So does that mean next season Manchester United will bring back the Premier League trophy to Old Trafford? And hashtag 21 will come into force finally, not this season as I was hoping mainly, but next season. Overall, great season, but there's still one more game to go, and it is the biggest game of Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's career. It's Manchester United versus Villarreal in the UEFA Europa League final, and we'll be bringing you all the build-up on the road to Gdansk on the RedFlex. Me and Harris will be back for the RedFlex end-of-year season awards. Make sure you tune into that. But until then, thank you for watching. And if it is the first time that you're watching the RedFlex, make sure you do like, comment, share, and subscribe.